A weird Tinder dare nearly turned into a nightmare. Most creepy Tinder stories start with bad dates. This one started with a bizarre online ad offering money to kick a guy in the groin. Two women say they thought it was stupid, immature, and probably fake, but also easy money. The man behind the profile claimed he was filming a funny YouTube challenge. All they had to do was meet him behind his house, record the video, and get paid cash. But the second they arrived, something felt horribly wrong. The property was isolated. The backyard was pitch black, and hidden behind the house was a small metal shed with the door already open. Then the man smiled and said, "Come inside." That's when they realized this probably wasn't a prank video at all. And if they walked into that shed, they might not come back out. According to the women telling the story, they were both in their early 20s at the time. Like a lot of people their age, they used Tinder mostly for entertainment, sometimes dates, sometimes attention, mostly boredom. One night, while swiping together in an apartment, they came across one of the strangest profiles either of them had ever seen. The bio simply said, "Paying girls cash to kick me in the groin for a YouTube challenge." At first, they thought it was hilarious. Then they assumed it had to be fake, but according to them, the guy started messaging almost immediately after matching. He claimed he was filming painful internet challenge videos, and supposedly his subscribers loved watching random women kick him as hard as possible. The whole thing sounded ridiculous. Still, the guy kept insisting he was serious. He even offered them money up front. According to them, that's what made the situation feel believable, because scammers usually try getting something from you. This guy was aggressively offering cash. At first, they joked about it for almost an hour, but eventually, curiosity started taking over. The guy claimed he'd pay them each $200. Cash. No complicated filming. No weird contracts, just one quick video. According to them, that amount of money felt huge at the time, especially for what sounded like basically nothing. So against their better judgment, they agreed. The men gave them an address on the edge of town. According to them, the location immediately felt sketchy. It wasn't in a normal neighborhood. The property sat near a partially industrial area with very few nearby houses, and when they arrived, things immediately started feeling wrong. The house itself looked run down and poorly maintained. Overgrown grass, broken fencing, trash scattered near the driveway. According to them, the entire place gave off bad energy instantly. Then the guy walked outside, and according to them, he looked nothing like his Tinder photos. Not slightly different. Completely different. Older. Unhealthy. Erratic. His movements seemed twitchy and unpredictable. At first, they thought he might be drunk, but according to them, it quickly became obvious he was probably on drugs. Still, they stayed calm initially, because the guy acted strangely friendly. Too friendly. He kept laughing randomly, talking too fast, and avoiding eye contact. Then he said something that immediately raised alarms. The filming spot's out back, according to them. Both women exchanged uncomfortable looks instantly, because suddenly the situation no longer felt public or casual. Still, the guy kept acting upbeat and excited, so reluctantly, they followed him around the side of the house, and that's when things became genuinely terrifying. Behind the property sat a small metal shed, according to them. The shed door was already open when they arrived. Pitch black inside. No visible camera set up. No lighting equipment. Nothing remotely resembling a YouTube filming area. Just darkness. Then the man smiled and said, "Come inside." According to them, pure survival instinct kicked in immediately, because suddenly every part of the situation stopped making sense. Why would a comedy video happen inside a dark shed? Where was the camera equipment? Why isolate them behind the house? And most importantly, why did the guy seem more nervous the closer they got to the shed? One of the women immediately said she forgot something in the car. The man's expression changed instantly. Not angry exactly, more irritated, like something wasn't going according to plan. Then he quickly insisted, "It'll only take a second," according to them. That sentence terrified them even more, because his tone suddenly sounded desperate. The women immediately backed away together. And according to them, the guy started walking toward them faster, not running, but definitely trying to stop them from leaving. That's when they turned around and sprinted. According to them, they heard the man yelling. Behind them, while they ran back toward the driveway, one of the women nearly slipped while trying to unlock the car. The other kept screaming at her to hurry. Then they finally got inside and locked the doors. According to them, the guy stopped near the end of the driveway, just staring at the vehicle. Not yelling anymore. Not chasing them. Just watching silently. And honestly, that calm reaction scared them more than if he screamed, because according to them, it felt like he knew they realized something terrible. The women sped away immediately. Neither spoke for several minutes. According to them, the adrenaline hit so hard afterward that both started shaking. Later that night, they checked Tinder again. The profile was already deleted, completely gone, and according to them, that confirmed their fears instantly. Because the account probably existed only to lure women to that property. To this day, they still fully believe something horrible would have happened if they entered that shed. Because sometimes people online don't create fake profiles to scam money. Sometimes they create them to lure people. Some were isolated long enough for something much worse.
I thought I was meeting an old friend. I was wrong. Most catfish stories are embarrassing. This one was terrifying. One man says he matched with somebody on Tinder who looked exactly like a girl he went to high school with years earlier. Same face, same name, same hometown. At first, he thought reconnecting would be fun. The two talked for hours, flirted constantly, and eventually agreed to meet late at night in a nearly empty parking lot. But the second he arrived, something felt horribly wrong. The girl sitting inside the parked car didn't fully match the photos. The windows were heavily tinted, and there was somebody else sitting in the passenger seat, completely motionless. Then his phone buzzed. A new message from the Tinder profile said, "Get in." That's when he realized the real girl from high school probably had no idea her photos were being used, and whoever was inside that car had been waiting specifically for him. According to the man telling the story, he was around 22 years old at the time. Like most people his age, he spent way too much time on dating apps late at night, mostly out of boredom. One evening, while scrolling through Tinder, he suddenly froze on one particular profile. The girl in the photos looked incredibly familiar. According to him, it took a few seconds before he finally recognized her. She looked almost identical to a girl he went to high school with years earlier. Same first name, same hometown listed. At first, he actually laughed, because the odds felt bizarre. They weren't close in school, but they definitely knew each other. Mostly, through mutual friends. According to him, she had always seemed quiet and normal back then. So out of curiosity, he swiped right. Almost immediately, they matched. And according to him, that's when things started feeling strange. The girl became extremely flirtatious very quickly. Much more aggressive than he remembered her being. Still, he convinced himself, maybe she'd changed over the years. The two messaged back and forth for hours. At first, the conversation felt believable. She referenced places around town correctly. Mentioned the high school, even remembered a teacher they both had. According to him, that's what made the account feel legitimate. Eventually, the conversation turned flirtier. Then she suddenly asked if he wanted to meet that same night. According to him, that should have been a red flag immediately. Because it was already close to midnight. Still, he agreed. The girl suggested meeting in a grocery store parking lot nearby, according to him. The location seemed random but public enough to feel safe. So he drove there. When he arrived, the parking lot was almost empty. Only a few scattered vehicles remained. Most stores were already closed. Then he spotted a dark sedan parked near the far edge of the lot. Its headlights were off, but the engine was running. According to him, he immediately felt uneasy. Not terrified yet, just uncomfortable. The car's windows were heavily tinted. Too tinted. He parked several spaces away and checked his phone. Then a message appeared. "I'm your smiley face." According to him, that confirmed the sedan belonged to her. Still, something didn't feel right. He looked toward the vehicle again. That's when he noticed movement in the passenger seat. Another person was inside the car, completely still. According to him, his stomach immediately dropped, because the Tinder girl never mentioned bringing somebody else. Then another message appeared. "Come get in." No explanation, no joke. Just that. According to him, the entire situation suddenly started feeling dangerous. He tried calling the Tinder account directly. No answer. Then he looked carefully toward the driver's seat again. And according to him, the girl inside didn't fully look like the photos, close enough to fool somebody quickly. But definitely not the same person from high school. The hair looked wrong. The face shape looked slightly different, and according to him, that realization sent pure panic through his body. Because suddenly, everything changed at once. The fake profile, the isolated parking lot, the second unknown person inside the vehicle. Then his phone buzzed again. "Why are you still sitting there?" According to him, that message terrified him. Because whoever sent it was clearly watching him carefully from inside the car. At that point, he immediately locked his doors. Then started his engine again. The second his brake lights turned on, the dark sedan started moving too. According to him, his heart started pounding instantly. Because now the vehicle wasn't just sitting there anymore, it was following him. At first, he tried convincing himself he was paranoid. Maybe they were leaving too. But every turn he made, the sedan left turn, right turn, another right, still behind him. According to him, that's when fear became full panic, because there was no logical reason for them to keep following him. Then, suddenly, the sedan accelerated hard, closing distance rapidly behind his car. According to him, it felt like they were trying to pressure him to stop. Instead, he slammed onto the main highway, heading out of town. The sedan followed immediately. At one point, the car pulled partially beside him. According to him, he briefly saw 2 men inside, not women. Men. That moment completely confirmed everything. The Tinder profile was fake from the start. And whoever these people were, they intentionally lured him there. According to him, he drove straight toward the nearest police station. The second the sedan realized where he was heading, it suddenly backed off. Then, exited the highway completely. He still drove directly to the station anyway. And according to him, he sat in the parking lot shaking for almost 20 minutes afterward. Later, he searched for the real girl online and quickly discovered something disturbing. The actual woman from high school had no Tinder account at all, meaning somebody had stolen her photos and personal information completely. To this day, he still believes he narrowly escaped being robbed, carjacked, or worse. Because once the men realized he wasn't getting into that car willingly, they stopped pretending. The Tinder profile was real altogether. This story is terrifying because nothing about it felt supernatural. No masks. No weapons. No dramatic chase scene. Just normal people using a fake Tinder profile to lure somebody into an isolated parking lot late at night. And honestly, the scariest part might be how believable the fake profile was. Using a real girl's photos, real hometown details, and shared memories from school made the whole thing feel safe enough to trust. But the second he saw there were actually 2 men inside that car, everything changed instantly. Because at that point, it stopped feeling like a bad date. It started feeling like he escaped a setup.